we got to watch the new Solo Leveling movie early.
Let's talk about it. Big thanks to Sony Pictures UK and Crunchyroll for inviting us down to watch this banger. Like, it's always good linking up with your fellow creators and watching anime. Like, it doesn't get better than that. If you didn't already know, Solo Leveling is the anime adaptation of the popular Korean manhwa, and it's set in a world where mysterious gates open, and these gates are filled with monsters. Along with these gates, people awaken supernatural powers, and they are called hunters. The story follows Sung Jin-woo, who is deemed as the weakest hunter of all mankind, and his transformation into the strongest hunter. Now onto the movie. The first half is a recap of season 1, and it does include the most important parts, and the second half is a couple of new episodes from season 2. If you've never watched the anime, you can go into this and still enjoy yourself, because the first half, though that recap does a good job of abridging those 12 episodes, you're not really missing out much. You will still go into this enjoying this as like a stand, like if you don't know anything about Solo Leveling.
For me, I feel like the recap went on for a bit longer than it needed to. I feel like there was bits that they probably still could have cut out. However, at the end of the day, it achieved what it set out to do. But if you don't want to watch all 12 episodes again and you do want that refresher, this recap will do you nicely.
The pacing is relatively good, and I didn't actually have any problem with it, even though like I've watched it and I've read it. I feel like they still kept the hype moments, but at the end of the day, I do know some people wouldn't like that because it's a recap at the end of the day.
Looking at the movie's animation though, I will say it does the show justice. The intense battles, how the characters are interacting with one another, whether it's the hunters, Sung Jin-woo, or the summons. And looking at the summons specifically, I feel like they got them down so well in regards to their body language and their mannerisms. Like, it just makes them feel like they have their own sense of individuality, right? And there was a point in the screening as well where everybody was creasing because of how the summons were interacting with one another, and it just adds this additional layer, the fact that these lot have personality, and I love that.
I feel like the anime itself has good animation. Like, they didn't give us special like cinema level animation, but it was still crisp nevertheless. Like, they still didn't lack regardless. As a manual reader, I was keen to see how they like capture the summons personality and like just the animation of them coming out the ground and that, you know, it was nice still. It was sick. Some of the shots were too cold. Now onto the fight scenes. All I'm gonna say is they cool. Season 2 is gonna be brazy. All the overhyped talk that we had is probably gonna die down now, and like I've said it before, I understand where it comes from. You've got people that have read Solo Leveling through and through, and then they get season 1 and they're like, this ain't as sick as you lot are making it out to be. But then obviously it's because only a certain chunk of it is gonna be adapted. Now we've gotten season 2, it starts off with a bang, it's gonna go crazy. You guys are gonna enjoy the fight scenes. Cooked. Certain scenes had that cinema room jumping, like it made you understand why we call him Drip Boo. Yeah, you might just say this is glazing, but me, I don't mind.
The fights in this movie was sick. The coordination, the flow of the battles in Solo Leveling, it just hits different. And I told IceyAyyz this at the end of the screening, right? I told him I feel like the Solo Leveling anime can actually become better, or a more elevated version of the webtoon. And obviously that comes down to the fact that it has music, that is anime, that is voice acting. But talking about the soundtrack, talking about the voice acting, what are we saying, Icey?
We actually watched it in subbed, and the voice actors didn't like. They did not like, to say the least. When we heard ReAwakening, oof, it gave me goosebumps. Soundtracks were sick. I can't lie, they were good, but there was nothing like outstanding. There was nothing that I could pinpoint and say, oh my god, this was so sick. It went, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were good.
Overall, Solo Leveling ReAwakening is a great reintroduction into the world of Solo Leveling. I feel like whether you're a returning person to the anime or this is brand new to you, the movie is a great way for you to get that recap of that first season, to experience what it's like, as well as get you excited for that second season.
I agree, Jay. I feel like everyone will enjoy this movie. Like, I do understand the first half is a recap, but I also get that the movie caters to everybody, whether you're a Solo Leveling manga reader, whether you're an anime only watcher, whether you've just never heard about Solo Leveling at all. Like, I feel like everybody would be satisfied after watching this. Overall, I'm gonna give Solo Leveling ReAwakening a 7 out of 10. It would have been higher, but we can't take away from the fact that it's just a recap of season 1 and a couple of episodes of season 2. Like, it's not a standalone movie. You just don't get that mad cinematic feel. You're watching it, it's pretty evident that these are a couple of episodes and whatnot. It's not necessarily a bad thing. For what it was, it's still cooked, and I'm a fan, so I'm gonna enjoy season 2 when it comes out. I'm gonna be on it.
For me, I'll give the Solo Leveling ReAwakening movie a 6 out of 10. I feel like that recap portion in the first half really kind of takes away from the overall movie feeling. However, when you get into that second half and you're seeing what season 2 has to offer, that is where that 7 out of 10 comes through. Now remember, Solo Leveling ReAwakening releases in cinemas December 6th. Don't lack. Oh, me. Well, I think that the recap did very well.